Today is a very emotional and important day. I literally want to cry with joy because Aduro Clean Technologies just issued a press release that they are going to be going public on New York Stock Exchange. This is monumental. Aduro Clean Technologies, with the best plastic recycling technology in the world, is going to list its shares in the United States, not on NASDAQ, not on OTC, but on New York Stock Exchange. I have been waiting for this for years. And now, why is this important? I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine selling a house. You have a beautiful house. You want to sell it, but you're selling it for sale by owner. You're not listing it with a broker. You're selling it for sale by owner, which means there's barely any exposure. Barely anybody knows about it, but you're going to sell it. And not only this, not only are there going to be very few people that are going to know about the fact that you're selling the house, for anybody that's going to know about it, there's going to be police cars surrounding the house with guns saying, you cannot enter. You cannot enter. You cannot see the house. It's dangerous. If you do enter the house, we're going to arrest you. And if you dare to talk about the house and tell it to others, we're going to convict you. We're going to put you in jail. You're not allowed. That's the life of a stock on a Canadian stock exchange. That's the life. Many brokers do not allow you to buy the stock. They do not give you access to buy the stock on Canadian Stock Exchange. When Aduro would go to investor presentations to talk about the story to brokers or money managers, they would tell Aduro, we can buy the stock for our own name, but we can't buy it in our client's name because it's not trading on a reputable exchange. Boom. Less exposure. And when you have people like me talking about a stock like this, they close your account. My brokerage account was closed 3 times. 3 times. Do you understand this? They closed my account 3 times. Interactive Brokers closed my account. Fidelity closed my account minutes after my Aduro shares were deposited into the account. And now a Canadian broker closed my account. And what did I do in this account? In the entire year, I made 1 trade. I exercised my Aduro Clean Technology warrants. That was enough. They closed my account. I'm a convict for owning or talking about companies that are trading on Canadian Stock Exchange. That's why it's so important for Aduro Clean Technologies to list in the United States so that there is exposure, there's credibility, and finally, people will be able to buy the stock. Finally, brokers will be able to buy it for their clients' accounts. Finally, people will have access to buying the stock through their brokerage account. Robinhood or any of the popular brokerage houses, you can't buy Aduro today, but you will be able to do it when they're listed on New York Stock Exchange. And not only that, it will no longer be considered a penny stock. Penny stock is anything below like $5. They're going to have to reverse split and make it trade at a certain level. So it will have, just like a house, instead of the house being listed by sale by owner, and surrounded by police cars with guns, if you want to see it, it will be listed. It will be like as if the house was listed with a popular real estate agent, no cops around, listed on Zillow, exposed on MLS. Everybody will be able to buy it. So you will go from nobody knowing about it to now everybody knowing about it. And what is this going to mean to the stock price? You're going to have to connect the dots on your own. Now, let's go to the press release. Aduro Clean Technologies announces filing of registration statement in connections with proposed initial public offering in the United States. Aduro, a Canadian technology company using the power of chemistry to transform lower value feedstock like waste plastic, heavy bitumen, and renewable oils into resources for the 21st century, is pleased to announce that it has publicly filed registration statement on Form F1 with the Securities and Exchange Commission relating to a proposed initial public offering of its common shares in the United States. Now, I want to say something about the IPO process. Usually, when companies go IPO in the United States, the traditional route is that they are private and then they go public in the US, which means that most people cannot buy the stock until it becomes public. The only people that can buy the stock pre-IPO are the best clients of the investment bank. In this case, Aduro is already trading in Canada, which means technically you can buy the stock pre-IPO without being a favorite client of the investment bank. Keep that in mind. In connection with the offering, Aduro has also applied for its common shares on the New York Stock Exchange, American Exchange. The number of shares to be offered and offering price for the offering have not been determined. The offering is expected to take place after the SEC completes its review process, subject to market and other customary conditions. And there can be no assurance as to whether or when the offering may be completed. As to the actual size of terms of the offering or whether the common shares will be accepted for trading on New York Stock Exchange. E.F. Hutton, which is the investment bank, is acting as a sole book running manager for proposed offering. Look up E.F. Hutton. They have been around for more than 100 years in New York. The proposed offering will be made pursuant to a prospectus. Copies of the preliminary prospectus related to the offering, when available, may be obtained on the SEC's website or upon request from E.F. Hutton. In addition to, and in preparation for the new listing on New York Stock Exchange, and subject to approval by the Canadian Securities Exchange, Aduro will undertake a consolidation of its shares and outstanding common shares at a consolidation ratio to be determined in the coming weeks. In other words, in order to be listed in the US, there has to be a particular stock price, like $4 or $5, okay? Which means if the stock price doesn't get to it before that, they're going to have to consolidate shares, reduce the number of shares so that the stock price is at that $5 mark or whatever, and it is no longer a penny stock, right? And also, when I give you the example of listing a house for sale by owner and listing the house with a popular broker, there's only one house, right? There's also only one Aduro, right? And Aduro doesn't have that many shares, okay? When you take out close to half of the companies owned by the insiders, I would say there's maybe pre-consolidation, maybe 30 million shares that people can buy. That's it. And now, if you expose the best plastic recycling technology in the world while the entire world is scrambling to find a solution for plastic recycling, when you expose it to the biggest capital market in the world, and there is only 30 million shares in the float that can be bought, do I need to connect the dots again? Moving on. A registration statement relating to the proposed offering has been filed with the SEC, but has not yet become effective. Securities offered under the registration statement may not be sold, nor may offers to buy be accepted prior to the time the registration statement becomes effective. The press release does not constitute an offer to sell or a solicitation of an offer to buy any securities, and shall not constitute an offer, solicitation, or sale in any jurisdiction in which such an offer, solicitation, or sale may be unlawful prior to registration or qualification under the securities law of that jurisdiction. Any offers, solicitations, or offers to buy, or any sales of securities may be made in accordance with the registration requirements of the Securities Act of 1933 as amended. The common shares of the proposed offering referenced above may not be offered to residents of Canada or persons in Canada. The common shares are being sold based on prospective exemptions under applicable Canadian securities law, and on the same basis that the securities will not be distributed back into Canada. So there you have it. Aduro Clean Technologies announces filing of registration statement in connection with proposed initial public offering in the United States.
You know, when I first, of course, I'm involved with Aduro because I'm in investing and I'm a shareholder in Aduro. But the first time I introduced Aduro to myself and to others, the first thing is, this is too good to be true. If this technology was working, I'm sure you went through the same thing yourself.
Absolutely, yes.
And
yeah,
so
and,
when
and,
you
voted with my feet in the end of the day. Yeah.
yeah. So I guess if you went through the same thing and I went through the same thing, what was your journey like that made you go from this is too good to be true to, man, this works?
Yeah. Well, very simple results. And for instance, one thing we do with customers is that we let them send a mixture of plastic waste that they care to have processed. Sometimes we are actually working with a waste company and they say, well, yeah, we'll put it in the pot and we watch what is coming out. And then it is too good to be true, as you say. That is what you see. It is an amazing result. And I'm quite honest about that. I'm still pleasantly surprised every day.